Can my church give me a visa or a green card? Can I get a visa or a green card to my church? The answer to that question is yes, but we have to go through the requirements first, okay? I talked about this subject last Sunday, and this Sunday I am going to reiterate, okay? I am going to go a little bit more further with some details using the forms. So let's start with the visa. The visa, it's called the R1 visa, R as in radio, and the petitioner used this form I-129. You can find it. I'm going with the instruction form so that you can know what are the qualifications. And if this video does not apply to you, please share it. You might really help somebody, okay? This form I-129 has a lot of purposes, but for the purpose of the church and you getting the visa to the church, we need to actually go directly to the requirement of the church. I'm not gonna go over this form in entirety, but I am just going to focus on the religious workers, okay? You see it says the purpose of the form. This form is used by an employer to petition U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services for an alien beneficiary to come temporarily to the United States as a non-immigrant to perform services or labor or to receive training. So there are a lot of people who can apply using this form. So basically the employer is going to petition for them using this form. But let's just go straight to the instruction for religious workers, okay? That is found on page 21. Okay, page 21. Okay, so R1 non-immigrant, that's religious workers. Okay, it says the R1 classification is for aliens coming to the United States temporarily to be employed at least part-time, average of 20 hours per week, only part-time, by a bona fide non-profit religious organization in the United States or a bona fide organization that is affiliated with the religious denomination in the United States. Okay, so basically either the church is in the United States or the church is outside of the United States, but it has some type of affiliation with a denomination in the United States. And when we talk about religious workers, remember we're talking about all religions. We're not just talking about Christianity. We're using the term church because most people here they're Christians, but we do not discriminate. We are talking about all religions, okay? So I'm just using the term church because it comes naturally to me, but really it can be a mosque for Muslim, it can be a temple for Buddhist or Hindu, it can be a synagogue for Jewish, but basically religion, okay? Religious worker, that's what I want to say. So if you come to work solely as a minister or in a religious vocation or in a religious occupation, something that has to do with something religious in nature. For example, you can work as a singer, as a pianist, as a doctor for the clinic of the church, as a counselor, a teacher, teaching religion, as anything that has to do with the religion itself. So religious in nature, that's the vocation, and it's part of your vacation. So the qualification now is that to qualify, the alien must have been a member of a religious denomination that has a bona fide non-profit religious organization in the United States for at least 2 years preceding the filing of the petition. For at least 2 years. You've been a member for at least 2 years. On top of it, you are coming to work, and you have been working there too, right? So, and then the petition must be filed by U.S. employer with evidence relating to the petitioning organization. So now the church has to prove that they are a non-profit organization. And how they prove it? They prove it by showing a valid determination letter from the IRS. They're showing it by showing that the religious organization that is recognized as tax exempt under the group tax exemption. So pretty much showing that they are a religious organization as defined by the section, under the section, of course, 501c3, basically a non-profit. Okay, that's how they're going to prove it. You can go ahead and read more on this qualifications, and then they have to sign the attestation on the form I-29, and then the USCIS has to be able to verify evidence on how the petitioner intends to compensate the beneficiary, including salary or non-salary compensation. So remember last time when I was talking, my emphasis was really are you getting paid? But the way they measure salary, it can be the way they measure payment can be salary or non-salary. If it's non-salary, it's basically, let's say, for example, they pay for your rent, they pay for your gas, they pay for your tuition, they pay for pretty much they're compensating you in one way or another, but you have to have evidence of it. Okay, you have to have evidence of that. If the beneficiary will be self-supporting, then the petitioner must submit documentation establishing that the position the beneficiary will hold is part of an established program for temporary uncompensated missionary work. So if they're not going to pay you, but they have to show that this part of the job, they are not required to pay you, but it's basically you are going to support yourself, but then you have to show how you're going to support yourself. Okay, evidence that the beneficiary has been a member of the religious denomination for at least 2 years immediately preceding the filing of the petition, and evidence to establish the beneficiary is qualified to perform the duty of the offer position. So you have to be qualified to perform the type of job that they are offering you by that religious organization. Maybe your degrees could qualify, your previous experience could qualify. Remember here, it doesn't say that you have already been working for 2 years there. You have been a member for 2 years, but now you're coming to the US to work for the church, and then that's when you're going to show all those evidence. That's with R1 visa. But remember, the R1 visa does apply too to people who are here legally. Let's say you were let's say you came with a visitor visa, 6 months visitor visa, and within 3 months you got a position at the church, and the church has another affiliation in your country of origin, and you've been a member in your country for at least 2 years, and now you have a position of a church. The church can file this petition for you without you having to get out of the US. That's when you have a legal status here. Let's say a visitor visa that hasn't expired yet, the 6 months one, not the 2 years, because the 2 years you're required to get out and come back, but basically lawfully present at the time of filing the petition. So that's what I wanted to say. And that concludes R1 visa. Please go ahead and read it. It's very short, really. Page 21 on the instruction form I-129. Read it. If you qualify, don't hesitate to call my office so that we can schedule you for a consultation. But remember, I do charge consultation fees. But this is a great way to really have a non-immigrant visa, and eventually you're going to transition to the green card visa, which is an immigrant visa. to a green card petition, which is a immigrant qualification, basically, under which you can be stay here and work and do all that. So this is a good start, especially for people who are those who have their visa still valid, 6 months visa visitor, or maybe another type of visa that is still valid. And if you can prove the thing that we just said, you can have that non-immigrant visa for religious workers and eventually get your green card. That's a great start. If you're outside the United States, please go ahead and read it. You can Google this form I-129 and just go to the instruction and page 29. Focus on that page 29 and read that. Feel like you qualify, shoot me an email. We can talk about how we can convince your church to actually file for you. Remember, if you're outside of the United States, the church that you are part of must have an affiliated office here as well. Like the religious organization that you are part of must have an affiliation here as well. So that's how it's going to work. Okay, let's move on to the I-1. This one, the form I-360. Okay, the form I-360, that's the one that you use to adjust status. Once this one is approved, then you can apply for the form I-485. Then you can adjust status and get your green card. And how this one works, let's jump right into it. Remember, we're only focusing on religious workers. Okay, so we are here, religious worker. I believe it's page 3 of the instruction form of form I-360. Page 3, religious worker. Okay, how can you do it? You must qualify, of course. It says a U.S. employer may file this petition for a beneficiary who seeks to enter the United States to be employed full-time by a bona fide nonprofit religious organization in the United States, or a bona fide organization that is affiliated with the religious denomination in the United States to work. So basically, you're a member of some type of religious institution, and that institution is either outside of the United States but with an affiliation here, or the organization in question is just here and you've been a member for at least 2 years, and then you want to work solely as a minister of that religious denomination, or in a religious vocation, either in a professional or non-professional capacity. And that's when people get because people think I just have to be a pastor. No, you don't. You just don't have to be a minister. You can work in a professional or non-professional capacity, as long as you're giving your gift, you're offering your gift to that religious organization. Okay, you can be teaching the scriptures or whatever book that religious organization use. You can be a singer, you can be broadcasting news, you can be really helping in a professional or non-professional capacity, as long as we can prove it. Okay, in a religious occupation, either in a professional or non-professional capacity, that's the same thing. So now the beneficiary may file the petition on your behalf, so that religious organization can file it on your behalf. And then to qualify, you must have been a member, remember, for at least 2 years immediately preceding the petition, and working continuously after turning 14 years of age in one position described above. So you've been a member for at least 2 years and you have been working there, okay, in those capacities that we have just said. And either you get paid with a salary or you get paid with a non-salary. Remember that you don't have to be paid with a salary. You can be paid with a non-salary, meaning that another form of compensation. Maybe they pay for your rent, maybe they pay for gas, maybe they pay for tuition, maybe they pay, but you must be able to prove it. That's the strong part of it. Okay, So those are the simple qualification here. Very simple. You can meet those qualifications. And then now you have to have evidence. So when the petitioner petition for you, those are the evidence that they have to show. First of all, they have to show with a valid determination letter from IRS showing that they are established as a non-profit organization, tax exempt organization. And then for a religious organization that is recognized as tax exempt under the group tax exemption and currently valid, okay? Bona fide organization, basically as defined under section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986. So basically just pretty much showing that they are a non-profit organization conducting religious activities, okay? And then a current, this is the same thing, document establishing the religious nature and the purpose of the organization. Those are bylaws of the church or the synagogue, the mosque, whatever religious organization that you might be part of. And then literature such as book, article, brochures, calendars, flyers. If they don't have enough, they can even show flyers, so really showing the activities of the organization. And then a certification must be completed. That's the form I-360 signed by the petitioner, that religious organization. Remember, they are the one petitioning for you. And then really evidence that has to be verified, how the employee intend to compensate the beneficiary, including salary or non-salary compensation. I've explained that enough. And then evidence that the beneficiary has been a member of religious for at least 2 years. We talked about it. Evidence that has been working continuously for at least 2 years. So basically, if you've been working there for at least 2 years, you've been a member for 2 years. That's the minimum requirement. When you work in the capacity of a minister or in a religious vocation, I gave examples, but you must have been compensated as well. It can be a salary or a non-salary compensation. I'm reiterating on that. It can be a salary or non-salary as long as we can prove it, okay? And then evidence establishing the beneficiary is qualified to perform the duty. And then that's like previous experience, degrees, stuff like that. Just qualification showing that you are capable of performing the type of duty that you are performing there, or you intend to perform in the future there. Okay, that was it. Really go ahead and read those instructions. Really Google the form I-360 instruction form, page 3 here, really for religious worker, focus on religious workers. Read those instructions. If you feel like you qualify, please email me, shoot me an email if you're outside of the United States. If you're inside of the United States, please call my office. Of course, call tomorrow. Call my office, and then we'll see how we can schedule for a consultation. Please be mindful, consultation fees apply, so we can go into detail and really try to convince your religious organization to petition for you or for your friend, family member, or somebody that you might know, neighbor or anybody. Because the reason I am really insisting on this type of green card, it's because remember that they give 10,000 green card out, and each year they don't fulfill that because a lot of people don't know those qualifications that they could qualify, okay? Because most people think you just have to be a minister. No, you don't have to be a minister per se. You can have another vocation, religious in nature, and I can explain more about it if you are willing to schedule a consultation so we can find out your qualifications, okay? Please go ahead and read it, really study it if you can. If you really feel like you qualify, we can help you. But remember, if you have a cruel unlawful presence, this form will require a waiver, so we can waive those unlawful presence. And but if you are within those, let's say you are on asylum, then you don't need that. But or you have a valid visa, you don't need a waiver. But remember, in order for you to be found admissible, either to be admitted or to adjust status, you have to find yourself admissible. So if you have crimes or anything else, a waiver is required in all those type of applications. Okay, call my office for a consultation and we'll be able to help you. Consultation fees apply. Bijoux Ngwanda here, immigration lawyer in the DC metropolitan area. Please go ahead and share, subscribe. Don't forget to comment below. And until next time, sorry, have a great day. Bye bye. Happy Sunday.